Yo, Shriram, what's up, bro? Oh, I'll just start anyways. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Howdy, Rover. How are you guys doing? Yo, just a FYI, I haven't slept. I hardly slept for like half an hour, not even that. So, if I miss my words, sorry about that. You are going to see me fumble a lot today. I didn't sleep at all. I was working with the India team because of the project. So yeah, technically, good morning, good evening, both will work for me today. You guys can hear me though, right? Everything is good. Okay, should be working. Yeah, I was just working all night on trying to fix one of the programs, so it's half done. That's good. So just a FYI because I will be fumbling a lot today. I feel like. How are you guys doing? How's everybody doing? Shriram, how you doing, man? Rover, how's everything, boss? Share this. Not this. Okay. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, and I will start Brave as well. So we have another hand on it. Dude, my life is good today after like I was able to make some progress. I was happy because from last couple of days I was not able to like make any good progress honestly with the program. There is no documentation for the whole system. It's amazingly bad. So I just was like, there's no system, there's nothing. So now it's good. Now today at least like there's some standard coming. And it's a great day because we will be actually doing some AWS cybersecurity stuff, like cloud stuff, which is up my sleeves, up my. This is going to be nice. I'm very happy about this one. And it's just 30 minutes, so that's good because I'm going to go get some sleep. So without a further ado, right, we'll get started. Stay with us. Oh, you have exam tomorrow. All the best, bro. All the best. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, then all the best. Focus on the exam. We'll see you after. Yeah, yeah. Sounds good. We'll see you after that. Then we'll see you tomorrow. All the best, bro. Okay, for rest, everyone. Right, we'll get started with Advent of Cyber Day 23. AWS Security Secret Santa. Learn the basics of AWS enumeration. Hope you guys have this ready. Here's the link. Okay, and we'll get started. The introduction, task one. There will be, I think, okay, there are 5 tasks today. First is introduction. So, one of our stealthiest infiltrated elves managed to hop their way into Sir Carambane's office. One sec. Okay. One of the stealthiest infiltrated one of our stealthiest infiltrated elves managed to hop their way into Sir Carambane's office. Thank you, Dad. And lo and behold, discovered a bundle of cloud credentials just lying around on his desktop, like forgotten carrots. The agents suspect these could be the key to regaining access to TBFC's cloud network. If only the poor hare had the faintest clue that what the cloud is, he would burrow in himself. Let's help the elf utilize these credentials to try to regain access to TBFC's cloud network. Learning objective: learn the basics of AWS accounts, enumerate the privileges granted to an account from the attacker's perspective, familiarize yourself with the AWS CLI. So, you will see some good information coming from me as well for this. Before moving forward, review the questions below, review the things below here. So we will be starting our virtual machine and there will be split screen available. So I will be starting it in here just because that's the right way. Unknown, what's up, bro? Ready to get started with AWS security? Come over. This is my zone. Cloud is my zone, so you will learn a lot. AWS accounts can be accessed programmatically by using AWS key ID and secret access key. Awesome. For this room, both of those will be automatically configured for you. AWS CLI will look for credentials at .aws credentials, just like the Git, right? There's a hidden directory .aws and credentials are here. Just like Git, there's .git and credentials or configurations as well, where you should see something similar to AWS access key and the secret access key. AWS security token service, AWS STS, allows us to utilize credentials of a user that we have saved during our AWS CLI configuration. We can use get caller identity call to retrieve information about the user we have configured for the AWS CLI. Let's run the following command. AWS STS get caller identity, right? So once we run this, we will get some extra, get our information, right? The access key and stuff. So we'll get a user ID, the account. Account is unique across the whole AWS. Your account is unique across whole AWS. ARN, right? So that's AWS resource. I think something ARN resource name. Yeah. So AWS resource name. So this is pointing to resource user in account this, if you see, and name of the user is CyberSecurity. Seeing the output, the elf was overjoyed. The credentials work, and as can be seen by the name at the end, they belong to CyberSecurity. The elf can now attempt to regain access to TBFC's cloud network using these credentials. So this person basically have access to AWS network of or AWS account of CyberSecurity. Run AWS STS get caller identity. What is the name of the account you show see, right? So we'll go to Brave. Come on. Okay. Now it has opened. That's good. We'll let it run for a minute. We'll go to. You guys got it run? Your AWS VM is started? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Awesome. Okay. I'll also just move forward then, right? So task 2, IAM, user roles, groups, and policies. I'll just make sure it's here. Okay, I'll run the AWS STS. And basically, we are just want to get the account information, right? STS get call user identity. So IAM, Identity and Access Management Overview. IAM is a very important concept in cybersecurity, especially with the cloud, right? So AWS utilizes Identity and Access Management (IAM) service to manage users and their access to various resources. You are supposed to start them when you come across them. Wait, you are supposed to start them when you come across them. Like start what? The virtual machine? I did start it, it just didn't work actually for me. So here we go. Okay, it's still working. Yeah, I did, like, it just gave the error, so I didn't even bother much. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fine. Nothing crazy, right? Hopefully this quickly gets done. Awesome. So we get S3cret Bane as a user, and what they were asking, the account ID or the account name? Account ID. Yeah, just a simple issue. That's fine. We got it done, so nothing biggie. Okay, so we know AWS IAM service. It is used to manage users and their access to various resources. This is where you can tell, right, AWS that, hey, if I have a user, let's say censored hacker in my account, there can be many more, right? You can there could be unknown, there could be rabbit, there could be rover, right? Okay, I want censored hacker to have access to the whole platform. Unknown should have access to only, let's say, virtual machines and S3 buckets, and rover should have access to all the billings and everything, but not dev stuff, right? Based on the user, you can define what access you want to give them. You can create groups, like let's say dev group I can create, and I can add people to that dev group, and they will all have access to whatever the devs need. So that's identity and access management for you guys, including the actions that can be performed against those resources, right? So what this means is, just like you have Google Docs, right? You can edit, you can view, or you can comment. There are three different type of rules. Similarly here, there are multiple rules. You can either see how many virtual, for example, if it's about virtual machine, sometimes you can just only see that there is a virtual machine and its name and what its configuration are. Next, you can access it. Third, you can destroy it. Fourth, you can like change other things as well. So there are multiple types of stuff. No. Nah, dude, computer science, you go for AI. Go for AI. There is no computer science anymore. It's all AI. Howdy, Panda. Therefore, it is crucial to ensure that the correct access is assigned to each user according to the requirements, right? Misconfiguration, IAM, has led to several high profile security incidents in the past, giving attackers access to resources that were not supposed to have access. So, why this has happened, actually, if you go right now, I can show you. If you want to see S3 buckets of Google, sorry, not Google, Netflix. If I want to, there is some stuff called Google docking, in which what I can do is I can go site star dot s3 dot amazon aws.com, and then I can go and do Netflix. I have access to S3 buckets of Netflix. Now, yes, these are the things, right? Lessons from Netflix price challenge stuff, right? Like what Netflix was doing, certain things. I can have similar access to any account on AWS, or same goes for GCP and Azure, and access their stuff. Now, you can act as a or a cloud security engineer. I have to make sure just a Google search won't give you access to, let's say, the financial stuff, right? The financial documents. So if I go, that are not released, certain are released, right? So there will be a push to various things, the annual reports of Netflix and stuff like that. I'm okay you getting access to that. Yo, what time you start work? As soon as this is done. But yeah, this is like how it is, right? There's misconfiguration can lead to so many things. And just one Google search, I showed you, like, you can get access to so many things just from Netflix, which I know is a user of Amazon AWS, and more things, right? So misconfiguration, let's read this again and we'll go. Misconfigured IAM, right? Just like S3 buckets. Misconfiguration of S3 buckets had led to several high profile security incidents in the past, giving attackers access to resources they were not supposed to access. Companies like Toyota, Accenture, Virgin has been victims of such attacks in the past, often exposing customer data in sensitive documents. Below, we will discuss different aspects of IAM that led to sensitive data exposure if misconfigured. Now, IAM users. A user represents a single identity in AWS, right? Each user has a set of credentials such as passwords or keys that can be used to access resources. So access keys are basically, let's say, your password. It's similar, but it's created by Amazon and it's used for specific purpose. So password is used, let's say, through to access your web UI. Access keys is used to create automation scripts or access through the CLI of the resources. So access resources through CLI. Furthermore, permissions can be granted at a user level, defining the level of access a user might have. So at user level, you mean it's like not just organization or the unit you are in, right? Or the team you are in. Let's say you are part of, uh, let's say a company name would be Google, right? Or Netflix itself. Netflix, you could be part of the financial team or the dev unit, and then team. Let's say name given is um, hackers or whatever the team, right? But also at user level, so new users don't destroy anything by any chance. Those levels are given. Yo, Range, what's up, bro? So we have, I think, Sir Carrot Bane here. IAM groups. This is what I was saying, mentioning about multiple users can be combined into a group. So you can define, let's say, based on the team or the unit, that we have a dev team, right, in the company. So I can give permissions. What I can do here, I can define in the IAM, I can define something called a group. A group would be, let's say, dev, and one would be, let's say, accountants. In dev group, I will give permissions to what all resources the developer need. Yep, right. In the dev group, I can give access to what things a developer would need, like virtual machines, S3 buckets, their code commit, which is similar to their GitHub almost, and yada yada yada, right? So, and then what I can do, let's say if a new user, Wrench, is part of our dev team, I can just say, hey, Wrench is part of the dev group. So Wrench will get all the resources that are that any dev other person in the dev have access to. Whereas, for example, if Rover is here, or we have unknown, they can have access to all the things, not dev related stuff. They are accountants, right? They will have access to the account related stuff like the billing and everything. That's how groups work. Why we don't need, why we want groups, right? Because as humans, you can make mistakes while going to every user. So you want to create groups so everything is consistent, right? Is centralized in these cases. This can be done to ease the access management for multiple users. For example, in an organization employing hundreds of thousands of people, there might be a handful of people who need write access to certain database. Instead of granting access to each user individually, because it just takes time for no reason, the admin can grant access to a group and add all users who require access to the group. Oh, nice. Yep, probably. When a user no longer needs access, they can be removed from the group, right? IAM roles. Another part of IAM, very important or term you need to know. IAM role is a temporary identity that can be assumed. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Robert. So, an IAM role is a temporary identity that can be assumed by a user, as well as by services or external accounts to get certain permission. So think of Sir Carrotbane and how, depending on battle ahead, he might need to assume the role of an attacker or a defender, right? So role, I would say, role is basically, let's say, what we were talking about here, right? What is your role? Your role is a developer role, accountant role. Now there are other types of roles as well, right? And you want a temporary role, right? Right. For example, let's say today is the production release, right, of stuff. So a temporary role of prod devs will be created, and I might be just added to that group just for a little bit, like for temporary purpose, because production stuff, right? Not every developer, majority of the developers, or even one developer should sometimes not have access to prod, right? So they are added only during the production release. A temporary group is added. So those are special type of things you can do. There are external users you can do. Why you might need a temporary external one? And this is important for all the hackers out there. External one you might need because if you might want to have or you might become a ISO 2701 investigator, right? If you become one, you will be given this external role so you can have access to all the configurations and information required, right, to give your client a ISO 2700 certificate. One thing I will tell you, if you are in this investigator, if you have this privilege, you are actually making a six-figure income, a very, very high level income. Just FYI. So these are you can get will go again. Temporary identity that can be assumed by a user as well as by a service or external accounts to get certain permissions. Yeah, let's start applying for internships. There are a bunch of them close in January. Yep, makes sense. Think of Sir Carabin and how, depending on the battle ahead, he might want to change the route, right? When, depending on becoming an attacker, when becoming an attacker, we will get permissions to wield his shiny swords. Interesting. But when assuming the role of a defender, we'll instead get permissions to carry a shield to better defend King Malhari. So based on whatever you're doing, which part of the group you are. IAM policies identify access provided to any user, group, or role is controlled through IAM policies. A policy is a JSON document that defines the following. Let me show you an IAM policy right now. If you go, you can find so many IAM policies templates. This is how it looks. Version, this is the same for everyone. 2012, 10, 17, this is same. Need to know when they open. When I check, they okay. Go on AWS. You can apply on Amazon or AWS website. There are Amazon. Directly go to the website. Amazon, Google. There are Accenture, Infosys. Just apply there directly. Big Four. Just apply there, right? Yeah, cold emails are a great important way too. So we have version. This is how IAM policy looks like. Statement, allow, right? Allow what? Allow these actions. EC2 is Servers. EC2 is the name of the services, virtual machines in AWS. So describe the instances, describe images, right? Describe tags, snapshots, and do all the resources. You can define these things. And there is CloudWatch for logs, what all you can do with it. This is what a policy looks like. This tells Amazon, AWS that, hey, what to do and not. What action is allowed? Action, right? This first one here. Action. What you can do with a resource. On which resources, right? So there are a lot of resources. There can be in different, how to say, different regions and stuff, right? For a developer in Canada should not have access to resources in India, right? So you can define those things. What are the conditions from who? Principal. So there you can access those all these things online because there are thousands of templates for this thing on GitHub and everywhere else. So version, like I said, 2012, 10, 17, same for everyone. Statement right now allows specific read access, and you can mention the principal user, right? Yeah. Now, Infosys does pay really bad, but like if you are able to play around with the game, the resources they provide for learning is really good. Then we have action, S3 get object, and these things, right? That's true. This policy, if you want to see if a company is good or not, just look at their retention rate, right? That's easily the best way. This policy grants access to AWS user Alice, principal account, right? Here we saw to get an object from S3 bucket. So we have resources S3 bucket, my private bucket. Yeah, to S3 bucket name this. What IAM component is used to describe? I think we should let's focus on cybersecurity last. Let's focus on cybersecurity. What IAM component is used to describe permissions to be assigned to a user or a group? Awesome. Tell me, lads, which IAM component? We have roles, we have policies, we have groups, we have resources. What is the answer? What IAM component is used to describe permissions to be assigned to a user or group? This is like almost the heart of IAM, I will say. You have a billion, you don't know, man. Things are very tough. This is it takes like a lot of interesting. There are so many things. Yeah, it's good to have money, but you just don't know how it affects people. Okay, task 3, practical, enumerating a user permission, and let's focus on the cybersecurity labs, everyone. Enumerating users, right? All right, let's see what we can do with the credentials we got from Sir Karen Payne's office. Since we have already configured them in our environment, we can start interacting with AWS. Yeah, that works. We start interacting with AWS CLI, the command line interface, right? Just like we do through Bash and stuff, our terminal, to find more information. Let's begin by enumerating users. We can do so by running a simple command, right, in our terminal, AWS IAM list users. Again, Sir Carrotbane should have access to IAM list users through the policy, right? There should be IAM describe users or describe all the things, right? That permission should be there. Assuming it's there, let's run this and we will get access. So we got one user with the user ID this and ARN resource as this, right? We will see an output that lists all the users as well as some other useful information such as their creation date. Yes, sir. I'll play a 1 minute ad. Sure. So, enumerating user policies. Policies can be inline or attached. Inline policies are assigned directly in the user or profile and hence will be deleted if the identity is deleted. So I will say policies attached are always better than the inline ones, right? Because you can detach or play, like both are actually equal. Inline policies are assigned directly in the user or group or role profile and hence can be deleted if the identity is deleted. These can be considered a hard-coded policies as they are hard-coded into the identity definition. But why I like the attached one, right? 10-hour ad. Nah, bro, I can't run that big. Attached policies are also called managed policies and can be considered reusable. What is attached policy is you saw that JSON, right? I can create a copy of that, right? Attach that policy, and then that same policy I can attach to all the other users, right? I don't have to rewrite. Whereas in case of the inline ones, I have to basically reassign, keep on like doing all those 10 different ones. An attached policy requires only one change in the policy, and every identity that policy is attached to will inherit the change. So it's like a centralized way. So IAM policy command is used for applying policy, right? Depend, not just applying, right? But yes, IAM policy, not command. Like I think is there AWS? What is exactly the name? Create policy, right? So they, depending on what you mean, right? Apply policy, create policy, list policies. Yeah. Yes. So I'll give you an example, right? I created a policy called dev policy. What is a policy? A policy is basically the JSON we saw, JSON file that will have list of like things I'm allowed to do, right? Like, okay, I'm allowed to play with like the EC2 servers, which are the virtual machines, right? Then I have database, the RDS, right? Relational database services, yada, 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 right? I created this dev policy. Yeah, yes, IAM is used for policies, passwords, access keys, Git credentials, bunch of things. But anything access related, IAM is the place, right? So now I created this policy, right? I created a JSON document. I add what I can do now in IAM. If I add a user, right? Let's say censored hacker, that's the username. I can attach this policy to this person, right? Then I have another user, let's say wrench. And then we have rover. What I can do, I can attach the same policy to wrench. I can attach the same policy to rover. Now I say, hey, I want to add another new service we are playing, or a new thing that came was Amazon AWS Q, their AI agent, right? Their AI. So I can just change the policy and it will affect all the other ones because it's attached to it, right? IAM can only be used by root. Like, nope, that's wrong. Because we can actually use it to reassign resources to a new user that we. No, so I'll give you this idea. There are basically people, right, who will have not 100% a role, but I'm giving you an example. There can be a role in a big company which will be IAM credentials manager or IAM manager. Basically, let's say put it this way, IAM manager. What this person's role would be, right? You don't have to be a root, right? Because the high in a cloud, the highest level is the account owner. The account owner is the root. This person you can't, like, this person can make the changes which not everybody can, right? That's point one. Second, you don't have to be a root to access IAM, because IAM, you just as a user, what I need a policy or I need permissions to access IAM resources. If I have this, I Does not matter if I have access to virtual machines or not. Doesn't matter if I have access to like databases or not. I need this resource. I need this policy attached to my account, and then I can make changes to whatever I am. Important to note, right? I'll read the thing again in a second, but important note, in this IAM resource, the policy attached to it, to this user, I can mention he can only read IAM, right? He can't make any changes to IAM policies. He can only, let's say, add more things, but not delete or stuff like that, right? So you don't have to be a root, point one. And point two, based on the resources, you can only read access. There cannot be like any write access. So depends, right? IAM can only be used by, so I gave you that because we actually use it to reassign resources to a new user that we can make. So that's the thing. Read, if you have read access, you doesn't can't do that, right? So if I get in an Amazon Access account, how much changes is that I will have? Depends, right? If you get into an Amazon, right? If I get in AWS Access, so you get somebody's access, how much change? So depends. If you have the policies, things you can make changes to. Again, there are ways to escalate, right? Because sometimes there are various ways, right? One is CLI, one is web. You might have more access through the CLI than web, or you like Amazon Q now have their AWS Q, right? Their service, the AI service, their Chat GPT. They might have access to change it. You can jailbreak it to make some changes. So many things in cloud. It's just like a group management. Yes, kind of at a level. Yes, yes, I will say. But again, right? Like cloud has reached a level. There are like, I think if I give you a count, I will say there are thousands of roles, right? For different services and stuff. Whereas in Linux there is like a certain, there is 777, right? We know what 7 means, right? There are three types of access: read, write, execute, right? In this case it's similar, but there is more granularity at that level. Dude, if you're good at Amazon or like AWS hacking, you are actually way more like hireable than anyone. Like this is like something that has very important now. It's very important. There is hardly any company that doesn't use a public cloud, and actually a lot of companies use two clouds, right? Dude, I want to, man. I'm really like, I haven't slept today, right? I've slept only for like couple hours, 1 hour. I was just so much into completing my work. So where were we? One second, I'll drink some water first. Enumerating users. Wait, practical. Yeah, yeah, no, 100%, 100%. So we list the users, right? Enumerating user policies. Policies are inline. We covered that. Okay, let's see what inline policies are configured or are assigned to CTFWalkthrough Bane by running the following command: AWS IAM list user policies username CTFWalkthrough Bane. Yeah, I actually chose that because I'm like, I in this is just my habit. Try to really work hard in the starting days of the project, so your life is easier in the next later days. Yeah, thank you so much, Robert. There is a proper AWS and Azure one. Yeah, thank you so much. This is an add-on, but this is really, I've heard good things about it. Thank you, Robert. So, yeah, we ran this command, right? So, Sir Carrot Bane policy. This is attached to this user. That's not good because he created his own policy. Yeah, great. We can see an inline policy in the results. Let's take a note of its name for latter, right? Maybe CyberSecurity has some policies attached to their account. We can find out by running the following command. So user policy list user policies, attached user policies. So let's go here. So there are no policies attached to it, attached to this person directly. Great, we can see an inline policy in the results. Let's take a note of its name for latter. Oh, sorry, here. Hmm, not much here. Perhaps we can check if Sir Carrotbane is part of a group. If I was that rich, I would have bought CH Bro Stand. Nah, bro. This is something it's very like impossible to buy. I just love it so much here. Let's run this command to do that, right? So what we did was Sir Carrotbane had a policy attached, right? What we saw is like user policy, like an inline policy we tried to see. Nothing came. So we'll see, or like that was directly attached to the user. Nothing, right? So it might be part of a group. He's not part of any group. Interesting. Not much here. We saw this. Oh, list group user. Did I copy the right one? Yeah, I did copy it. So looks like Sir Cadbury is not part of any group either. Let's get back to the inline policy we found on Sir Cadbury's account. Let's see what permissions this policy grants by running the following command. Replace policy name with the actual policy name you found. So we have the policy name. Let's see, and let's see if that's attached. What's that? What? Oh, their learning path is, I think it's because the cloud is more expensive. How their system is, I don't know. Maybe just making more money they want. So policy name was Sir Carrot Bane policy, right, which we saw. This one. So I'll just type Sir Carrot Bane policy. An error occurred. No such entity. This policy was, oh, I typed wrong. Sir Carrot Bane policy. Sir. Okay. Get user policy. Policy name Sir Carrot Bane policy. Oh, capital P. Yeah, you just have to make sure this is exact. So you see, my mistake was here that I didn't do exact one. So Carrot Bane policy, list users, list group, list roles, list attached user policies, group role, groups policies, and role policies list. Get user policies. There are so many this person has. So we have list group for user list. Okay, assume role. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Wait, maybe AWS native. Oh yeah, like there must be something right for to get started to help you get started. There are a lot of AWS resources as well. You can just get started and you get free. What's this called? You get free credits from AWS when you get started. Yeah, AWS has their own role. They have their own partner network, which I have. So you can get started. There is no doubt. There is free ways to get started. So we got that. So now let's see. So it looks like SerCaratBane has access to enumerate all the different kinds of users, groups. No, Amazon one are actually good, Wrench. Amazon one are actually good. There's some of the ones I actually can back it because I went through their partner program for certain information and it's actually good. Or you can ask Chat GPT and like these AIs to help you create one, right? Those are actually like good ways to help you create a learning path. Gemini is actually good with learning path creation. Okay, going back. So it looks like SerCatBane has access to enumerate all the different kinds of users, groups, roles, and policies, basically the IAM entities. But that is about it. This is not a lot of help getting TBFC's access back. We might need to try something different to do that. If you look carefully, you will notice SerCatBane can perform assume role action. STS assume role, right? Yeah, that would be a good one. Maybe there's still hope. STS is actually another service which we just looked up, right? Security token, I keep forgetting. Security token service. It can help you get a temporary access to certain resources. Certain resources you can get temporary access more than enough to help you reach or enumerate or like privilege escalate. Go for it, man. The name of the policy assigned to Sir Carrot Bane was Sir Carrot Bane policy. Good part is this is not case sensitive. Okay, task 4, assuming roles. Important thing because this actually I can't take the company name, but I think somebody did was hacked because of this thing, right? And this is actually a very not so good thing. Enumerating roles. One second. Best way to get hacked: S3 buckets open on cloud, or same thing like what I did here, right? Just check this out. Just look into this thing. I think I have a tweet as well, which is very good. I will send that tweet as well after this. I'm not doing that, man. There's too much stuff. I don't even. I think that's the company. I don't want to give the wrong company name to. That's also one big reason. So, enumerating roles. The STS assume role action we previously found allows Sir Carrot Bane to assume roles. Perhaps we can try to see if there's any interesting ones available. Let's start by listing existing roles in the account, right? So we have various roles and we can have assume role for some of them. So one is role bucket master. As you can see, bucket master will be like giving access to AWS S3. So this is the user. You have 3600 second. I have to like do some meetings and probably I will take a rest for a couple of hours. And then I have a meeting in the evening for some other stuff. I have a busy day, man. This is going to be a good busy week. But yeah, this is bucket. I hope they mention more, but okay. Bingo. There's a role named Bucket Master. Let's run this one right first. So why it's not working? Okay, things are better now. Okay, great. It's not working properly. Maybe I'll just copy again. Okay, should be there, but it's not. That's fine. So we see assume role we have for bucket master, right? So let's go back. Here is more information. This is the role name. So you can get more information about what a role does, right? Role name, role resource name, ID, all this information. Bingo! There's a role name. Oh, really? Dude, send me the link for the info in the Discord. So there is a role named Bucket Master and it can be assumed by S3cret, right? Let's find out what policies are assigned to this role. Just as users, roles can be inline policies or attached policies, right? To check the inline policies, let's run the following command. So we are going to change it, see this time for Bucket Master what policies are attached to this user role, right? Yeah, I can't say anything, man. I don't want to be in trouble for no reason. I have been in trouble a lot. I'll open this one. Okay, now this one is working fine. That's good. I have not done anything illegal. That's all I can say. So, bucket master policy. We have a policy name is this. Let's see what more information we can get. There is one policy assigned to this role. Before checking that policy, let's see if there is any attached policy. So, this one was the inline policy, right? Role policies, and then there is attached role policies for this user. And honestly, I will tell you this. Once it's one of these things, these CLI commands, if you get like a bit overwhelmed, just break it down. AWS, right? Just like we run Python 3 or whatever. Then we mention like a little bit about which service we want to use. There can be EC2, IAM, and then based on that service, we will have options. Okay, in this service, what option you want, what action you want to perform. You want to list these things, and then it's arguments, right? It can be AWS EC2, AWS S3, stuff like that. So, but don't get overwhelmed because it's just after a year, 2 or 3, you will get such a big habit of just using these and memorizing them. Looks like we have the inline policy attached, right? Not the attached policy, just the inline policy assigned to it. Let's see what permissions can we get from the inline one. So we were had IAM list policy. Now we have get this policy and give us information about this policy specifically. Oh boy. Okay. Bucket master, right? S3. Oh, okay. So listen to this, lads. Bucket master, given we know from the name, right? Actions S3 list all policies. Sorry, list all buckets, right? That is big. If I can see all the buckets, so much information I can get, right? I can Easter secrets, bunny website. I have those resources at my leisure, right? Now let's see more. Get object. Get objects from Easter secrets. Get object every single thing. The bucket, the S3 has buckets. What are buckets? Basically files, right? Just like your OneDrive. So S3 has a lot of files. Those are files are called objects. So I can get the object, I can download it. And these are the objects that are present, right? So for Easter secret 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, I can perform this action as well. Why? Bro, this is actually great. This is great. We can get so much more info now. Well, what do we have here? We can see that the bucket master role can perform three different actions. List all buckets, list contents of this buckets which we got, and then the get object, you can get the bucket itself on some resources of a service named S3. S3 is basically a place where you can put files. Very, very popular one. S3 is also unique across the whole AWS. So if I create a S3 bucket, say censored hacker, let's say my bucket name is this, hacker. Now this has to be unique across all the things. It's same as like your Gmail ID, right? The same as your Gmail ID, this has to be unique across the whole world. Same thing with this bucket. That's why, and the links are like this. So it would become, the site will become censored hacker instead of the star, s3 dot s3 dot amazon aws.com, right? The bucket URL. I spend too much time on cloud, which is nice. Okay, this might be this might be the breakthrough we were looking for. More on this service later. Assuming role. To gain privileges assigned by the bucket master role, we need to assume it, right? We can use AWS STS, right? Security token service, to obtain a temporary credential to enable us assume this role. And this, we can basically say, hey, can you give me a temporary access to this role, or like, hey, can you create a user for me and give me the credential? And it works for, I think, 10 minutes. I believe this one is a 10 minutes one. It's in its configuration. So STS assume role. What is the role you want to assume? I want to assume the role of bucket master, right? Role session name, right? And TBFC. All good, bro. All good. Happens. Sometimes you just burn out. It's fine. This is having the same issues now. Don't worry, man. Happens. Ups and downs are a part of life. So AWS STS assume role, right? Which role you want to assume? You mention the AWS resource name. You give the full resource name, bucket master. Then you mention role session name, TBFC. We get this. Credentials. These things you should not send to anyone. These three things. No matter what. These are unique. A person with this can basically act like you. So we have access key, the secret access key, and then we have a session token that will work for next 10 minutes. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Send me those credits. I will send you after this. I will create one for you. So this command will ask STS. No, after this. This command will ask STS, the service in charge of AWS security tokens, to generate a temporary set of credentials. You can ask, basically, you can go back, take a screenshot of it, and just ask Gemini to get you the visuals, right? Why I say these things which will bite me in the back. This command will ask STS, the service in charge of AWS security tokens, to generate a temporary set of credentials to assume the bucket master role, right? Now, the temporary credentials will be referred by session name TBFC. We are giving the name to the session. You can set any name you want, right, for the session. We just set it up as TBFC, and these are the information you got, right? The output will provide us the credentials we need to assume this role, specifically access key, ID, and the secret access key. So this is basically your username, password almost, right? And the session token. To be able to use these, run the following commands in the terminal, replacing the exact credentials that you received on the assume role command, right? How you do it, export this. So I'll just copy paste because I don't want to write things down. Oh, great. Things are not working anymore. Cool. Great. Yeah, I don't know what's the problem with TryHackMe this year, but it has been breaking so often. Once we have done that, right? No need to start from the start. I actually know exactly where to pick from. Don't worry. We can officially use the permissions granted by the bucket master role to check if you have correctly assumed the role. You can once again run this, right? What this will do, get the caller identity. This will say, okay, what my user has like access to, right? So this time you will see bucket master role instead of just the CTFWalkthrough one. Yeah, it has been buggy this year. Okay, it's almost here. Ah, needed water. Oh, okay, I will check what all perform I can do. Okay, so we have the terminal. Uh, no, not this guy. What I need to do, right, quickly is I just need to, I know all the stuff, so I'm just going to run this last command, which was getting me the access keys and everything. If the session is already there, that I will get the previous one itself, or a new session can be created. Here, this one is expiring whenever, right? So I'm going to copy the whole thing here. Copy. What I can do with this copy is give me Sublime Text or something. Okay, Pluma will work. How to delete policy? There is first need the permission, right? Thank you so much, Rover. So you need the permission to be able to delete it. Do you have the permission? That's the question. Now we'll do what they told us, right? Export AWS underscore access key. I'll just copy the whole thing here as well. Uh, okay. So you see this access key. I'm going to change this to here. And I'll just remove this. How to delete the permission that doesn't allow me to have the permission? You can't. That's the thing. That's good security right there, right? That's the whole point of like being able to hack. Either you can do some STS, or basically try to get. You can attach yourself to a group that might have it, right? That's the whole point. So I'll just export all these three. Paste. So let's say if I want to go echo beautiful. No, dude, this is hard, right? That's like why it's hard. That's the reason you are getting paid so high, because if you are able to hack someone's AWS, that's really big. That's You will have access to things you can't imagine. Now, okay, so I will go AWS because now I have a new role, right? So I'll go AWS STS. I think it was list. Oh no, get caller identity. That's the, I think, command. Yeah. Now I see bucket master right here attached to mine, and I can see the actions I can perform. I think it was here. List all my buckets. Get object list bucket and then list all my buckets. List all my buckets. Okay. Now grabbing file from S3. What? Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. No, it's just, it's very like you have to be very, very precise with this. So this is the one, lads. This is the one. List all buckets. What error you are getting, unknown? Let me know. So what is S3? Very important to understand, because this is one of those services which are very, very, very fundamentally built to be reliable. Very, very, very important policy, or sorry, service. There are, like, I can name it very, like, I can name at least like couple of them which are very important right off the bat, like IAM, S3, like, which is identity and access management, accessing files like buckets and stuff. EC2, which is about servers. Then we have RDS, the databases. Aurora, again the database. Dude, I'm actually very like, I'm getting chill. I can go on for hours for it, but my throat won't. So, okay, nice. Before we continue, we need to know what exactly is S3. Amazon S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. You see 3S, Simple Storage Service, S3. Or also it's called Blob Storage, I think, in Azure, right? And same with GCP, it's called Blob Storage. This is an object storage service provided by Amazon Web Services that can store any type of object such as images, documents, logs, and backup files. Important to note, very important, which I love about S3, it is almost a Git of these files. The commands are not coming in. Oh, here it is. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now you have it. Good. Yeah. So what I meant, right? One thing I want to explain to you, which a lot of people I think miss out, bro, is so nice, bro. It is a sexy service. So S3, beauty about this, right, is just like in Git, right, where code you can see with plus and minus symbols, right? What line was added, what line was removed, right? What we can do with S3 is same thing, like similar stuff we can do with images, because at the end of the day, images are zeros and ones, right? Same thing with videos too, right? Thank you so much. So same thing with videos, backup files, right? S3 can create versions of it, just like you see in docs, right? Google Docs and stuff. It can create versions of these things, and it can actually reduce the storage required for this. Thank you, thank you. India, bro, India. Yeah. Okay, going back. Companies often use S3 to store data for various reasons, such as reference images for their website. This is actually true. A lot of people use S3 to host a static website. Look into that. This is actually something you will love. Documents to be stored with clients, or files used by internal services for internal processing, right? Like you can have pickle files, if you guys know about pickle files. These are like for some data processing in Python. Companies often use S3 to store data for various reasons, right? Which we talked about. File used by internal services for internal processing, website, document, blah, blah, blah. Any object you store in S3 will be put in a bucket, right? A folder, basically, you can think. You can think of bucket as a directory folder where you can store files, but in the cloud. Now, let's see what our newly gained access to Sir Carrot Bane S3 bucket provides us. Listing contents from S3, right? From a bucket. Since our policies, one second. Sorry, my throat is actually troublesome. Since our profile has permission to list all the buckets, right? We can list the available S3 buckets by running the following command. Yo, S3 API list all buckets. One second, as I'm getting a message. Sounds good. Okay. So S3 AWS S3 list buckets, right? This will help us list all the buckets that Sir Carrot Bin can see. So we have Easter Secrets one, right? And Bunny website. Owner, ID, blah, blah, blah. Now let's look next. There is one interesting bucket that is there that references Easter. Let's check out the contents of that directory, right? That bucket. Remember, this is the name of the folder. So we are going to look inside this folder now. A bucket can have, or a folder can have multiple files, right? So we have cloudpassword.txt and we have groceries.txt. Let's see what else we have. Just 2 files. That's good. Now I can get a object. What an object is? A file inside this folder. So I can get the txt file. Let's copy the file in this directory to our local machine. This might have a secret message. So AWS S3 API get object from this bucket, the key, right? Basically name of the name of the file I want and how I want it to be stored in my desktop. What name? It says accept bytes, blah blah blah, content length. So if I go ls, I see cloud password, so I can go cat cloud password.txt, more like Sir Cloud Bane. Okay, going back. Hooray! We have successfully infiltrated Sir Carrot Bane's S3 bucket and exfiltrated some sensitive data. Let's go, and here we go, our last flag for the day, baby. Here you guys go. How are you? How's your family? Oh, nice. I'm good, man. How are you? Okay, so that completes our AWS Security Secret Santa. A really great room. Finally, something good. Hacker. Okay, probably one. I don't know why they even show this thing. It's so BS. Okay, and I think today is the day, right? It's 23. After completing this, we get like an extra ticket or something for Burp Suite. Think so. Unknown knows better. I know, I know. Okay, continue the streak going back. Yeah, today is the day. This one is the last. Yeah, yeah. Was 7 days, a whole week. Advent of Cyber, Sacred Santa. Beautiful. So yeah, that's awesome. So we have just one more left in our journey. Exploitation with curl. Can't wait. Can't wait for this one. But yeah, till then, that's all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it, right? Um, and like, share, subscribe if you want, please. That'll be great. If not, that's fine. But make sure, right? Keep learning. Thank you so much for joining. Sorry I have to leave again so quickly. No post. Okay, make the post right now. Sure. Here's the one. I have to see somebody else's post and copy paste from there. I'll just complete this. I'll take his one. I'll take my man Sri Ram's one. I'm a developer, right? So I can do that. Also, just add this. TryHackMe, and then remove this hashtag. Beautiful. Peace out. Boost? No, I don't need to boost. I like myself. Okay. Citadel giving back 5 million profit to. Okay, nice, nice. Interesting. Nothing useful. Nice. But yeah, you can copy mine. That's how it works, I guess. Use the hashtags, use the @ for TryHackMe. Remember to do that. But yeah, that's all for today, lads. Thank you so much for joining. It has been a pleasure doing every single day with you, right? Keeping the consistency on. Love it. But as you know, this one was just for Advent of Cyber. From the week onwards, we'll go back to Monday to Friday schedule, right? And I'll try to make some funny videos once I have the new iPhone ready. Yeah. Dude, I can't do this every day though because like I need like weekends to like do my own things, right? Like I've been like burnt out a lot. I don't know if you noticed this. I could not even like complete Advent or Cyber. Some days I was missing, remember? Just get like for now, let's do 5 days because that will help me keep going properly. Um, yeah, it will just help me keep going properly, right? Once I'm better, once I have less stress from work, I will 100% go back to it, right? But till then, yeah, that's how I'm thinking. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. Hope you guys liked it, right? Thank you for joining. Thank you for asking all the questions. Thank you for those questions were great, right? And everybody for participating. I'll see you guys in the evening with our Lead Code or Die series, right? Working on more tree related problems. Till then, this has been your favorite censored hacker signing off to sniff some network packets. Thank you and a big bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye.